guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And we have a special Patreon El Review Assholes.
It's come to you like swift diarrhea from Taco Bell.
I'm bleeding!
Oh, dear God, that's wretched.
Shit! Yes, this was requested first by Carla Park, who is an amazing lady who's always been super awesome to us.
She's
You were Carla Park. And also Johnny Littrell, and a shout out to Ricky Littrell. You guys all requested this because it's a fucking badass underrated movie.
They literally knew.
Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Dennis Leary.
You know, Frank, after I kill you, I think I'm going to pay a little visit on that wife of yours.
Judgment Night.
You coming?
Emilio Estevez, I swear to God, the Mighty Duck Man himself.
Emilio! If you grew up in the time that we grew up, you know this movie. And that's why I think it was requested by so many people, because it was it was an HBO late night, I don't know, Cinemax HBO. It was a late night special. This shit was always on at like 12 p.m. at night on Saturday night, and we would just watch it as kids. I love this fucking movie.
I think I watched it one time on TNT. Right before Nitro. It was great, man. Like, I mean, the movie itself is so simple and so easy to tell, but this thing is star fucking studded. Emilio Estevez, you got Cuba Gooding Jr., you got Stephen Dorff, highly underrated. I wish that guy had really done more stuff. You've got fucking Jeremy Piven, you've got Dennis Leary, you've got Sykes, which he's that bad guy that was in the that guy's got the perfect bad guy face. Whatever that guy's name is, the guy that played Sykes.
He looks like you without a beard.
Are we gonna make Young Guns 3? I think so.
The plot was the best though, dude. It's a bunch of dudes who are going out for a dude's night. They're older. They're all going to watch a fight together. They haven't hung out in a while, and they're all a bunch of goddamn hooligans.
I love it.
A night out on the town. A heavy traffic jam.
Tell you something, I'm not gonna miss this fight.
And one wrong turn.
Eventually, they end up thinking that they hit a guy, I know what you did last summer type situation. They get the guy, and it turns out that Dennis Leary, who's like a gang leader down in these dark and dirty streets, and his crew are searching for this guy because he stole money from them. So they kill him. They take him out of their fucking, they wreck their RV. They pull the guy out. They kill him, and then they're like, well, these guys, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, Emilio Estevez, are all witnesses to this murder. So then Dennis Leary and his gang hunt them in the streets at night.
You broke rule number 1. Do not steal from me. Oh, boys, rule number 2. No witnesses. What are we gonna do?
What do you think of the neighborhood?
Dennis Leary is such a great bad guy. Like, his speeches are so good. And he's like really fed up with these stockbroker fucking yuppie 80s dudes, and he's like, fucking fruit basket motherfuckers. I fucking dug the shit out of this movie. And when you were a kid, like it's obvious it's a thriller movie and it's an action film, but I always felt like there was a lot of it that had horror elements in it. Like even like small, like The Guest, like, you know, the way that they were being stalked and the way that they were running and they didn't have any help and they were like unarmed and they didn't know what to do. Damn, man, like they fucking pulled off the pacing of this film really well.
It really is actually scary because you put yourself in their shoes and you're down here and you're against a force greater than yourself and you don't know what to fucking do and you're pissing your tidy whities.
These guys don't give up.
Oh, Frank, is this your wife, huh?
I get a wife and a little girl, and I will get back to them tonight.
Let's show these punks what we got.
You better believe it.
You're just another victim.
There's a little bit of hand-fisted stuff in the friendship and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's a group of dudes who they feel like friends, and the camaraderie is there, and they love each other, and they have this deep friendship, and you feel for them when bad shit happens to them, and they get put in really bad situations. And you get a really good final fight scene that they don't do anymore, where like they have like a good 5 to 10 minute fist fight in the middle of this abandoned store, and it's so fucking cool. I just love scenes like that. Broken Arrow, John Travolta versus Christian Slater. He gets his ass kicked for a while, but then he gets pissed off. The guy mentions his wife. He comes back and beats his ass for a little bit. You just don't get those movies today, man. I love the whole end set piece of this movie where the little suburban dude finally decides to stand up for himself.
I feel like, it's so hard to point out what ties it all together, because the plot's great. It's written really well. It's directed really well. The pacing is really well done as well. The actors are amazing in all their parts. And again, Stephen fucking Dorff, man. And Jesus Christ, why does he have to look like he just got off a shift at Burger King and he's mad at the world. But nonetheless, he should have been a bigger star, man. Stephen Dorff, to me, is one of the most underrated actors ever. But nonetheless, he has all this cool stuff. But I'm always thinking, like, when I'm watching, and I'm like, what ties? I mean, you got the relationship, the dynamics between the friends and the RV, and all that situation that happens when they break down and they have to go out on survival time. I get that, but to me, it's Dennis Leary, man. Dennis Leary is the guy that is the shark in the water that no one sees coming, and he's always around a corner, and the way that he mocks them, and the way that he stalks them, and the way that he goes, it's almost like goddamn Michael Myers if he had a vocal box. Yeah. Like, and it's scary, man, and you're watching and you're like, man, Dennis Leary is fucking on fire. Like, he's really done. I'm actually surprised that it never got more recognition than it did, at least for some of the actors to win something, because he was scary, man. Dennis Leary was really like an unpredictable type of bad guy, because you didn't know exactly what he wanted, but he would talk to you and smooth talk you in a way. He's like, I know you're scared. I understand you're scared, but look, I don't got collision insurance. I don't got fucking full coverage, and you ruined my car. And it was like, how are we gonna fix this? He's like, I'll give you all your money. I mean, just let me go. I mean, I won't tell him. He's like, yeah, but you broke rule number fucking 1, and then boom, you're like, woo! Yeah. Like, he puts it on a staple, man.
He's an underrated actor overall, dude. If you guys have never seen Rescue Me, the show, he's fucking amazing in that show. He's a super underrated actor and an underrated
all these guys are comedian. Really. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. had, he had his time in the spotlight, but Jeremy Piven has always been secondary roles, and I feel like Jeremy Piven is also a major underrated guy.
This was obviously, it was pre-Entourage Ari Gold.
Yeah,
Jeremy Piven. I feel like when he got that role, he really came into his own as an actor. Like, you saw the best version of Jeremy Piven, but this is back when Jeremy Piven was doing a lot, like The Family Man.
Yeah.
The Family Man came after this, but he was doing a lot of these roles like that. He hadn't really hit his stride yet, so sometimes his character's kind of corny, but it's still Jeremy Piven.
Well, I mean, I think that Jeremy Piven is almost in a way kind of like a Vince Vaughn kind of dude, in a way.
I get that.
The way that he's fast talking and he's witty and he's got it on the move and he can do comedy and he can do drama a little bit. Just the way that he blends those together. Even with the Entourage fame that he got after the show came out, it's still good, but I always felt like Jeremy Piven should have been like a much more solid guy that people go to immediately and have a bigger career than he has. Not that Entourage didn't do a great job, I mean, and it did an amazing job portraying him. I'm just saying, dude, this movie is so fucking good. It's so good.
If they try to remake this movie that came out today, what people would try to say would be, they would try to say, oh, this is about classism, and this is about this type of people versus this type of people. But back then, nobody gave a shit about stuff like that. It was just like, no, these dudes get fucked up by these gang members, and that shit's scary, and they're gonna try to survive it, and then they're gonna have a character arc because of it, and some action in the middle there, and that's why this movie in a time capsule is so fucking great. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 myself. And the fact is, like, it does have those messages that are subtle throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
The vile that Dennis Leary, just the venomous attitude that he has towards these yuppies, these dudes that think they can buy their way out of anything and money solves all of it, and they don't, and he just fuck your Rolex, bitch, suck a dick. You can tell it's all there, but it's not overtly done, and there was no articles coming out talking about it, which would have ruined the film anyway.
Salt peanuts.
Carla, Johnny, Ricky, it was a fucking amazing pick. We love this movie. We talk about this movie constantly. Probably if you follow us on any of our social networks. And we've mentioned it 100 times. Love this fucking movie. It's a great, fun fucking movie to watch, and I feel like there's a lot of people that haven't seen it. Definitely got to check it out. It's not perfect, but we rate it a little bit higher, a little bit because of nostalgia, and a little bit because these movies just do not exist anymore.
And not to mention the fact, honestly, this should be in your catalog to watch for your fall movie. Like, I mean, I know that everybody wants to watch the Friday the 13th, they want to watch the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Halloweens, but it does feel like a fall. I mean, I think it even takes place in the fall at one point, because it does have the thriller elements to it, because some people would even consider that 7 would be a lineup that they would watch a horror movie. They would have 7 in their list. I don't, it's not that scary, but it's still, it's got disturbing elements in it, and like we mentioned, very slight horror touchings. Bam, just a little bit of that salt, but nonetheless, man, when I was watching this movie last night or the night before, I got like a fall feel. Like when I was watching, I was like, man, I can't wait to fucking decorate a pumpkin and put it on somebody's door and then light it on fire.
And by the way, just to throw a recommendation out for those of you who have seen this movie 100 times like we have, and you want a movie like it, if you haven't seen No Escape with Owen Wilson in it. Do you remember that movie? Came out a couple years ago. He's on foreign ground, and like there's this whole war happening around, and he has to escape all these terrorists with his family. I got the same vibes from that movie as I did with this movie.
It was a good movie.
You really put yourself in their shoes. So if you have seen Judgment Day 100 times, and you haven't seen No Escape, totally reminds me of that. But definitely watch Judgment Night if you haven't seen it. And that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you, Carla and Johnny and Ricky. You guys are what keeps this fucking channel clicking on all goddamn RV cylinders. And we love you all so fucking much. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in you.
Fuck yeah. And don't you ever go behind my back and steal fucking money from me. You break rule number 1. You know what I hate worse than a fucking thief? I hate a liar.
I only tell you one time. Don't fuck me, Tony. Don't you ever try to fuck me.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie.